So it finally happened. It finally happened. Chud the Builder, the man who goes up to people and says the N word, just provoking them, calling them chimps, telling them they're chimping out, has been fatally wounded by himself. He has been shot by his own gun because somebody had PTSD from the word and he was provoking them, and then they struck him. Breaking, streamer Chud the Builder allegedly shot a man who tried to attack him and accidentally grazed himself during the incident. This is him right here. This is Chud. This is Dalton Eartherly. He went a little bit crazy. He is right here. He grazed himself. Bada bing, bada boom. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office and Clarkson Police Department have responded to a shots fired incident in front of the Montgomery County Courthouse. The scene is secure and there is no danger to the public. Both law enforcement agencies are on the scene. This will be investigated by Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. No additional information is available for release at this time. Now, Chud the Builder has been going through a lot of emotional turmoil because of the ridicule he's getting online. This is him talking about the emotional turmoil and ridicule he has been getting online because of his actions.
What I'm really upset about. My son's mother texted me today saying that she wants to change his name, switch it from mine. She fears for him. She said, she's like, oh, you've tarnished your name, and I don't want him to have to deal with that. And I'm sitting there thinking, I walk through the streets and respectable people are literally stopping their cars in the road to shake my hand. I'm walking past people that want to take a picture every second, and the only people that don't like me are that are trying to kill me.
Even when you think you can have a monochrome of sympathy for this man, he immediately blurts out the N-word. Just he can't stop himself from doing it. And even so, he even complains more so on Twitter about all the bad things that are always happening to him by his own actions. I was wrongfully arrested after a restaurant who had Chud the Builder written down at the host stand before I even walked in the door, or ever walked out in the door, conspired to have me charged. Then I was held until noon on Mother's Day, had to cancel breakfast with my family. I was interviewed by the feds and bank account frozen, all electronic devices seized, as well as my firearm. The police cleared my multi-factor authentication keys after they took all my items, so now I can't sign into any of my iCloud or any of my accounts. I cannot care less about some of that. I am simply wary after 6 months of being attacked by our government for expressing the constitutional freedoms our ancestors fought and died for. Wake up, America. It's not illegal for white people to say the same word they say to each other. So I'd like to talk about the freedom of speech for one moment, if I could. This is the Wikipedia page for the freedom of speech. It's very direct and forward about how it is. Now, most people won't read this. Freedom of speech is a principle that supports the freedom of an individual of a community to articulate their opinions and ideas without fear of retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction. The right to freedom of expression has been recognized as a human right in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and international human rights laws. Many countries have constitutional laws that protect freedom of speech. Terms such as free speech, freedom of speech, and freedom of expression are often used interchangeably in political discourse. However, in legal context, freedom of expression more broadly encompasses the right to seek, receive, and impart information or ideas regardless of medium used. This is very important. This is for protest. This is for figuring out things. This is for organization. Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that everyone shall have the right to hold opinions without interference, and everyone shall have the right to freedom of expression. This right shall include freedom to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas of all kinds, regardless of frontiers, either orally, in writing or print, in the form of arts, or through any other media of his choice. The version of Article 19 in the ICCPR later amends this by stating the exercise of these rights carries special duties and responsibilities and may therefore be subject to certain restrictions when necessary for respect of the rights or reputations of others and for the protection of national security or public order or of public health or morals. This is very important, because most people just hear freedom of speech and think they can say whatever they want to. This is very specific. Even freedom of speech has restrictions. This is very important. Therefore, Freedom of speech and expression may not be recognized as absolute. Common limitations or boundaries to freedom of speech relate to libel, slander, obscenity, pornography, sedation, incitement, fighting words, hate speech, classified information, copyright violation, trade secrets, food labeling, non-disclosure agreements, the right to privacy, dignity, the right to be forgotten, public security, blasphemy, and perjury. Justifications for such include the harm principle proposed by John Stuart Mill in On Liberty, which suggests the only purpose for which power can be rightfully exercised for any member of a civilized community against his will is to prevent harm to others. To prevent harm to others. The offense principle is also used to justify speech limitations, describing the restriction of forms of expression deemed offensive to society, considering factors such as extent, durations, motives of the speaker, and ease at which it could be avoided. This is the offense principle in which Chud the Builder is religiously, overtly just disrespecting. With the evolution of the digital age, new means of communications emerge. However, these means are also subject to new restrictions. Countries or organizations may use internet censorship to block undesirable or illegal material. Social media platforms constantly use content moderations to filter or remove user-generated content that is deemed against the terms of service, even if the content is not illegal. On a moralistic standpoint purely, Chud the Builder, by virtue of the legal definition, by virtue of the Wikipedia definition, freedom of speech, he is using it incorrectly. In our beautiful country of America, on July 4th, 1776, when our beautiful nation was founded, we fought for the principles that allowed us to have the freedom to talk to each other in open platforms of expression. We did not want to be restricted in the means by which we could communicate or criticize an unjust government, whether it's criticizing the monarchy as we were when we were under British rule. We have fought very hard to keep these rights among each other. It is to criticize the government, not to initiate and ignite hatred in each other. There is playful banter amongst friends. There is accepted speech amongst people and camaraderie. To incite violence of a word that has such historical damnation is disgusting in every hint of the word. And the fact that something horrible has happened because of one single word should be proof enough that certain words carry more weight than you could ever fathom in this planet. I have been mulling over this for quite some time because whenever I bring this subject to the forefront, everybody always tries to hit me with stark and brief and ridiculous opposition. People often will just go toe and toe, to and fro, annihilating me, trying to hit me in a legal battlefield. Well, it's not illegal. They can't get you in court for this. They can't do that. Actually, they can. I worked pro bono law for quite some time. I was a pro bono law office assistant, and if you are using hateful speech to incite things and trying to get a reaction out of people by trying to do this and bring up hateful things in the past, it is classified as deemable hate speech to incite violence. Thus, that is illegal. That is illegal. You do not know the law, Chud the Builder. You do not fully grasp or understand the law. And 9 times out of 10, you will lose this battle. And it is not an uphill battle of trying to get words back. If there are black people that are cool with you using the word, that's fine and dandy. But if you use that word with the intent to incite violence upon somebody by calling them a name or a slur, that is bad. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words are slander and libel. This is disgusting. This is disgusting, contemptuous behavior for a man who so actively always readily uses the Lord as a scapegoat for the actions he so heinously commits and tries to bait sympathy with give, send, goes, and GoFundMes and trying to use your family as some metric of we should understand you as a human. I understand you don't want to be restricted as a human being. I fully grasp that. I completely understand that in every universe, in every world, in every way, you wish to be somebody that has infinite power to say whatever he wants to. You want the ability to speak and the ability to be free and the ability to be as American as possible. And you think the white man is oppressed. And I hear you. I hear you because my people have been through oppression as well. But your oppression is a victimhood upon your own brain and upon your own mind. You are seeking victimhood in a place where it doesn't need to be. It is one word. It is one simple word. You are so used to colonizing. You are so used to not having restrictions. You are so used to not having the ability to be restricted. to be in any way stopped or hindered, that you have taken this word, this contemptuous, this lecherous, nasty, disgusting, provocative word, and you have added the connotation that we have changed. We have added a soft A. You keep using the hard ER and using it as a way to call us and saying we're chimping out, to say that we are disgusting, to use this as a way to elicit a word you know gets people violent, to going to people who are less sophisticated in rural areas who do not have the self-control to do so. You are doing this on purpose. You are looking for a fight, and you got exactly what you were looking for, and these are the consequences of your actions, and this is what's going to happen, and eventually you're going to lose everything. You think you are fighting a good fight. You think you are on the right side of history. You are setting everyone back and just using it as fuel from just anonymity people who think they have power when they do not. All these people on your side fighting a fight that no one asks for, fighting a protest to a protest, trying to fight the smallest percent of people in America, not the completely smallest, but a very small percent, 13% of the population. You are trying to fight 13% of the population for what? You're the majority in this place. 60% of you. You control all the House, all the Senate, all the Congress. You have been president more times than I can possibly count. Over 40 times in history. We had one guy in office. That's all we had. We have one Supreme Court justice who's Republican, mind you. Clarence Thompson, I believe his name is. That's all we have. And you, for some indescribable reason, feel so bereft, feel so hurt by this one word, so angered, so filled with rage about one single word that you would go and harm another individual because of this. And I know people get angry and they get spiteful when you're using this as an excuse to incite people so you can harm black people. You, sir, are racist. Beyond racist. And I wouldn't call it racist if it wasn't racist, but this is racism. This is deep racism. This is the deep hatred and contempt and the ability to want to be able to say freeness. You want a world that no longer exists. You want a world that was great again. You want amazement that does not exist. You crave a world that is no longer here. You seek anger. You seek hate and vitriol and blood sport, and that's what you will achieve. You will achieve nothing in this in this lifetime. You're getting nothing. You lose, good sir. You are achieving zero things all the time. What do you gain from this anger and hate and contempt? Chud, what are you grasping? Chud the Builder, I do not wish for your downfall. I do not wish for the loss of your life. I do not want to see another man gone from this world. But you, sir, are evil. You ignite hatred in people for no reason other than self-vindication of a fake moral fight. And you use the word of the Lord Almighty Yahweh to push a fight that no one asks for. A fight that you yourself bereft upon yourself over one simple word where we have asked for a little bit of grace and serenity for, and you have done nothing with the ability to have civil conversation, just asking for free use of a word that has a riddled history of anger. We have tried to reclaim this word and make it our own, and you want that. Can you give us nothing? Can we have nothing in this world? Are we allowed nothing? No peace, no solace from the oppression that you wish to bereft upon us. What do you gain by doing this? What are you gaining? A bullet wound now, the loss of your child's name because your ex-wife wishes to change the name. You are gaining nothing in the way of a fight that you brought upon yourself. You are looking for victimhood, and you found it. I hope it's great. I hope the hood you put upon yourself upon the KKK and the white hood you go rapping upon the streets is the victimhood that you seek. This is nothing. You are doing nothing, achieving nothing, and you are fighting a war in yourself internally. You seek validation because you have caused anger and incited violence for a reason I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom why you would want to do this. For jokes, for fun. Contemptuous jokes don't get you anywhere. You are inciting hate speech, and that's not gonna fly in the ways of the law. You are attacking people when people know of your name. Nobody likes you. You are morally bankrupt in every single way of the word. You have the brain of a snail skull sniveling rabbit, and nothing you do will ever be remarkable in the ways of history because you are boring and you have nothing in the life hold of this world to grasp on. All you have is your family, and you barely have that now. Everything you've done has been a moral, a ubiquitous failure. here in every capacity. You gain nothing in this life hold. There's nothing for you here. Why do you continue to exist, to persist, to annoy the entirety of the black population who only make up 13? You got 60%. You want to take everything. We got to work twice as hard for half as much, and you're taking that away. What do you want to take from us more? What do you gain from this? Am I chipping out for you? Is this fun for you? This must be great because now I'm pissed and you got exactly what you had coming for you, and it's disgusting, and I don't like it. I don't like seeing people in pain. This is just desserts though. Just this. This is just what you wanted. This is what you craved. This is what you were hoping to happen. How dare you? Brings me no joy to watch somebody who shares blood, same as I, who has a family, who can have love in this lifetime, who came from the same genealogical tree, who also is a great man, I imagine, who has amazing muscles, I imagine. I'm not going to comment on if you're ugly or nothing in that variety, only in spirit. Would you think Jesus would do this? You are supposed to follow his image. Do you think the Lord would ever do this? Do you think this is great? Do you think this is fun, inciting people for the love of the game? What do you gain by this? What are you gaining? There is a specific kind of person who says the worst thing they can think of, watches the reaction, and calls it content. Not comedy, not commentary, not even trolling anymore. Just the raw act of pressing a bruise on the internet's arm to see who flinches. Weaponizing slurs. You are collecting trading cards from people, each one designed to produce maximum damage with minimum effort. And when people react, when the backlash arrives, when the platform finally notices, you curl into this defensive ball and scream about censorship, cancel culture, about being silenced by the very people they just spent hours, days, weeks, months provoking. This performance is so very ancient. And why does the costume change every single year? This script never gets rewritten. And I know of a time back in the day. I know back in the day when the white man was so powerful and amazing and you fell for the ruse of the American dream. Back in the day you were poor too. Back in the day you were nothing like me. Nothing like us. I'd like to show you something if I could. If I could take you a moment to go back through with history to let you know, just in the 1970s, 56 years ago, what they thought about us.
I don't like them.
Why?
I really don't. Because I just think that they're always looking out to make trouble.
Come on, let's get right up there.
Better turn around, Let's go back.
We were riding down this block, and these white people start saying, "Get out of here, you know, get out of my neighborhood. Don't come to this neighborhood." And then they start hitting on her,
Throwing rocks and everything else.
throwing rocks. Because we were in their neighborhood.
We went on a bike hike to McDonald's. We didn't mean to bother anybody.
We had a nice
we saw a parade, we
down
saw
there.
a gathering, so we went down there to see what was happening. I never even know people around here were like that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
Now, sure wish he had hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right dead in his face. They always say niggas are doing everything. They always say we're doing everything, right? Every time the white people come down the block, we don't push them out their neighborhood and throw rocks and start hitting them. We don't bother the white people around our neighborhood, but when we get in a white neighborhood, they just push us out. Yeah.
Everybody with us, they were nothing, you know, they were a piece of dirt, dogs. I mean, that's the way you treat an animal. I mean, God, we're human beings.
Yeah.
You don't treat other people like that. It's just wrong. Black, white, I don't care. A person is a person. Skin should have no bearing on how you treat a person. That's just wrong.
I hate their goddamn guts.
You don't hate them. I can't say that I hate them. I can't say that it's totally the kids' fault. I mean, I'm sure their parents had some bearing on the way they feel and everything else. I think it's just the system. I don't know.
How did this terrible thing affect your children? When they ask you these things, why? What do you tell them?
There are good and bad And every people, every race, regardless, tell them that we just happen to be amongst a few people whose minds are warped. And I'm not going to teach them that, regardless of how many bombs they put at this house. I'm not going to teach my children hate.
Chud, is that what you wish to bring back? Is that the America that you remember? Is that what you're fighting for? Make America great again. Is that what you're looking for? Is this the America that you grew up with? Is this what you crave? I'm just curious. I don't know. I'd like to be educated. I'm here to have a conversation with you. In some small way, in some part, I don't know what you're trying to gain. I see this history of my people. I see the people that were reasonable, that were trying to do this until it reached a boiling point. And even after we gained rights, we still got hate. You know what happened after we were freed from the plantations? You think that it was just over after slavery ended, when Lincoln gave slaves rights? It wasn't over. Allow me to show you a piece from 1972. That's very important to me. It's one of my favorite pieces. I'll show you right now.
If you could, would you paint a picture for us of what it was like on the plantation in your early days?
Everyone was happy. We never heard of all these things that we hear about today. And then it's no disgrace to say they're like children. When we say that, it's because they are like happy children, some of them. Because they like to sit in the sun and rather than work hard. My father had everything thoroughbred, from the pigs, horses, the dogs, and the people had to be thoroughbred.
As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. I can remember back in the 20s when I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. And now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to.
What do you think are the differences between the races?
I think there's a refusal to accept responsibility. I think there's a lack of motivation. They don't worry like the white man. If they have troubles, they go to sleep and wake up the next morning, and that trouble is over.
Is it possible that white people have something to do with the lack of ability for blacks to assimilate into this culture?
Absolutely. But customs die awful hard. It takes a long time. And everyone knew years ago that the Negro would have to be given equality. But in the South, it's been compared to straightening teeth. It takes a slow, steady pressure. You can't do it with a hammer. And white people's attitudes will change in time. I'm a lot more liberal than I was 5 years ago, and I know I'll be a lot more liberal 5 years from now, and I think almost everyone else is in that category.
What has tended to make you more liberal?
Well, realization that the Negro is a human being like anyone else.
Mr. Hasty, what did you think we were before you began to think of us as human beings?
Well, in a way, we thought of you almost as a very superior pet. Something, or rather someone, we had to take care of, because we had to do so much of their thinking for them. We had to do almost everything for them except living their own lives. Anything outside, we had to do for them.
Now, I didn't live through this. Obviously, I'm not that old. I'm but a mere 29 years old going on 30. But I experienced this in 2 strokes. My mother, Muslim, Arabic. During 9/11 and after that, I experienced a large backlash of a lot of Muslim hate. My mother disregarded her entire faith and proceeded to hide her hijab. And then afterwards, my father told me that it was going to be difficult being black in America. I didn't know what that meant until we moved into a better neighborhood. And I experienced what it was like for white people to experience me. I experienced the foreignness of my own existence. I do not think the harm caused by the word is abstract. A slur is not just a word to me. A slur is a summary. It condenses centuries of violence into a single syllable. Someone who has never felt that violence cannot understand why the syllable still burns. A lot of you people that hear the word think the past is past. I think history is a book that you can close, but history is not a book. History to me is a wound. Some wounds heal. Some wounds get reopened every time someone decides their right to offend is more important than someone's right to exist without being reminded that a large portion of humanity once voted on whether they counted as human. The person saying the slur did not invent that history. I do not think you are responsible for that history. I do not think anybody on this earth is born evil. But you are responsible for choosing to reach into the past, pull out the sharpest tool that you could find, and swing it into a stranger for a reaction. And that is what Chud the Builder has done. And the reaction is the point, not the message, the conversation, not any deeper meaning, just the feeling of control to have over another person, watching someone else hurt because you decided they should hurt. I imagine for Chud, that feeling is addictive, and that addiction escalates. Yesterday's shock is tomorrow's baseline. The words need to get worse. The target needs to be more vulnerable. You go into rural areas and you attack people who you know will react. The performance needs to be more extreme. Eventually, the person holding the microphone is not angry about anything real. You're just chasing a feeling that you cannot sustain. And you're chasing for this feeling, trying to get other white people to join in, trying to fight for this freedom that you believe you have. And I'm sure you have it in some ways that you can't even fathom. That becomes the content. And your content becomes your entire identity. And you built this cage with your own hands. And I think isolation plays a strange role in this cycle. People who feel invisible will say almost anything to be seen. Negative attention still registers as attention. Your brain does not distinguish between a like and a furious reply in the comments. To dopamine hits either way. So someone who has spent years feeling unheard, unnoticed, unimportant, suddenly discovers that a single well-placed slur can make thousands of people acknowledge your existence, whatever it may have been, how small or infinitesimal your existence may have been. The acknowledgement is rage, but the rage is still the acknowledgement. And the acknowledgement, like so many people before me, like everybody that is in this fame wheel all in times, becomes a drug. And that drug becomes a habit. And that habit will become a personality. Victimhood will enter the picture when the backlash arrives. The person who spent hours provoking people suddenly claims they are the one being attacked. They point at the responses they deliberately engineered and say, "See, this is why I cannot speak freely." They frame their own actions as a protest against censorship. They borrow the language of marginalized groups to defend their right to hurt marginalized groups. The irony is invisible to you, Chud, because the irony will require a deep level of self-reflection. And self-reflection is the one thing your entire performance is designed to avoid. You fight a war against nothing. You're not fighting against policy, not fighting against injustice, not against any real enemy besides people who just want to exist. Trans people, black people, gay people all had to fight for the rights we have right now. On July 4th, 1776, America fought against the British and gained all the rights specifically for the white man. Over the next 200 and some odd years of this wonderful nation's history, which I love and adore, everyone else had to catch up to the white man. That is what happened. The white man came first, and after that was blacks. But then came women. In small ways, women allowed themselves to be destroyed and dismantled. There was women's suffrage, feminism. There was so much work to be done. Gay people got their right to get married. Trans people are still fighting on their hands and knees just for some semblance of acknowledgement, and now they're labeled as a terrorist threat to the entire nation. Black people had to fight in civil rights. Rosa Parks couldn't even get a seat on the bus. Emmett Till beaten and put inside of a river by an inch of his life and accused of a crime he did not commit. I hear the stories of all the horrifying people in my history, in my nation, in the nation that I love so dearly, and I know that it has a history of disgust. We have fought the war. What war are you fighting? Are you fighting for men? Are you fighting for the freedom to offend? You're fighting against a vague sense that the world has become too soft, that you are being silenced, that your voice matters less than it used to. Your enemy is a ghost. You cannot fight a ghost, but I'm sure you can pretend. And I'm sure pretending feels better than admitting that you have nothing real to say, so you march, you post, you provoke. You collect screenshots of your own victimhood like trophies, these hollow trophies, this loud, hollow trophies. And I know your isolation will deepen because people who operate this way eventually repel everyone who might have helped them. You try to go to the cops and they deny you. You try to go to your wife and she's deny you. Eventually your family will deny you and you'll have a bunch of faithless people who will say maybe you are going too far. The provocations drive away the patient listeners. And Chud, I promise you, I am the most patient man you possibly could have asked for. I am the most patient person you possibly could have asked for. I have reformed KKK members. I have been in the forefront of Trump rallies. I have been in the most racist towns in America. I can't help you because you don't want to be helped. You don't want anything. Your defenses will drive away the honest critics. The performance will leave no room for genuine connection. You will end up surrounded by an echo chamber of people who are just as lonely, just as angry, and just as desperate for attention. The chamber amplifies your worst instincts. But that amplification, I'm sure, over time, is going to feel like validation. Your validation will feel like community. Your community will create this weird feedback loop and it'll accelerate. However, acceleration too long will end up in a wall and you'll end up in a crash. I would like to point something out to you. A protest against a protest is not a movement. It is a mirror. Two groups screaming at each other about things neither fully understands, both convinced they are the righteous ones, both convinced the other side started it, both performing for an audience that is also performing for another audience. You are creating a cycle of Ouroboros, a self-eating snake that feeds itself. The feeding you are creating does nothing but fight across the aisle. You are financially struggling, I am financially struggling. In this we are equal. In this we are the same. In that I would like to call you my brother, but you do not wish to extend our hand in brotherhood. You wish to incite violence within me by calling me a name that I do not like. If I were to call you a woman over and over again, I'm sure you wouldn't like it. If I were to call you out of your name, you would not like it. It's about respect. That's it. The very foundation of conversation and personhood and friendship amongst other people is a basis of respect. You don't want any policy changes. There's no policies against this. You don't want any healing, no understanding. You stated yourself that it's not illegal. So what policy are you possibly changing? You are fighting a war against people of equal footing as you. You just want more heat, more noise, more people feeling attacked and attacking back. The original grievance is completely lost. I think the loss is the point for you. Without the grievance, you would have to figure out who you are. And I'm sure that question is horribly terrifying considering all the things you don't have anymore. Words have consequences. It's not a controversial statement. It is not censorship to point out that saying something harmful will harm people. It is not weakness to avoid words that carry centuries of pain. It is not surrender to think before you speak. The people who insist that consequences are censorship are people who want the freedom to hurt without the responsibility of being hurt back, and you finally got hurt. You want to swing the bat and then claim the bat is just a piece of wood. The bat has history. The bat has weight. The bat leaves marks. Pretending otherwise is not free speech. You have just willful ignorance. The person who feels isolated and lashes out with slurs is not a martyr. You are someone who has found a weapon and decided to use it. An ugly, old weapon, a weapon that has hurt people for generations. I'm not arguing that you cannot say the word. You have the freedom to say whatever you want to. This is America, baby. I am arguing. What is the purpose behind saying it? This just makes you another person carrying a weapon into a room full of people who have already been cut. The reaction you get is not proof of your oppression. It is proof that your aim was accurate. You hit what you were aiming at. Now you are upset that the target reacted. Finding victimhood to fight a war against nothing is such a peculiar tragedy. It is a tragedy of someone who cannot sit with silence, who cannot tolerate being unnoticed, who would rather be hated than forgotten. This war must give you a purpose. It must give you an identity. And it gives you a reason to wake up. And your reason to me is wildly hollow. And the hollow is filled with the next provocation. The provocation produces the next reaction. The reaction produces the next wave of victimhood. The cycle continues and there is nothing left but the performance. The performer disappears inside the performance, but the performance still goes on, Chud. It still goes on. When I was younger, I went to my dad's work. It was a very important day. I was very happy to go to my dad's work. He worked at Jeep in Stellantis. It's a company. It's an automotive company. It's Jeep. It's very nice. And as I was watching my father work, his boss said, "Oh, it's my favorite." And my dad smiled and said, "It's me, the best." It was a white man. White man was having a fun time with my father, joking and bantering. And then my dad said, "Come on, say the word, man. Say the word. I know you want to say it." And the white man said, "Oh, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it today." My dad said, "Just say it once, man. Come on, you my buddy." He said the N-word. White man said the N-word right in front of me. And my dad said, "See, was that so hard?" Then white man said, "I know, but it's not a polite word to say. I don't feel good saying it." My dad said, "You really don't feel good saying it?" He said, "No, because you guys say it to each other. I'm sure you got it back, but I don't think I should say it. It just doesn't feel right. It feels strange to say. It doesn't roll off my tongue as efficient as you say it. You say it. You say it." My pop said it. Pop said the word, and I said the word. Me and my dad said it back. The white man left, and my dad said, "See, you gotta let them say it once to see how they feel about it and see if their spirit is right. If the spirit's right, they don't want to say it, but they say it in front of your face. They trust you enough to test their spirit right in front of you." That's why I don't trust a single white person who hasn't said it once. I think it's important to have a moment of camaraderie amongst people offline. I think it's important to have conversations with people offline. I think the online spectrum has ruined so much of common conversation that it gets bogged down into extremists and people just want to feel angry about everything all the time. I think that about a lot of people. I think that anger is a very powerful tool to get people to rally behind a cause. I think it's what got Trump into presidency. I think it's what gets people to fight against women online. I think it's what gets trans people destroyed and killed and murdered in the streets. I think it's what get black people to actually attack and retaliate against each other. I think hate, anger, and vitriol are very powerful tools. I think manipulation is a very good tactic for content creators, for clip farmers, for algorithms. I think it's smart. And Chud the Builder, I want to believe you're smart. I want to believe that you have some end goal to this. Maybe it's a social test. I want to see the best in you. I really do. I want to see something, but I see nothing. Nothing is a hole. It's a void. And you keep putting things inside of this void. And eventually you're going to hit the bottom of the void. I don't know what you want to accomplish. I don't know your end goal. I don't know the framing of what you have this victimhood for. I genuinely don't know. I'd love to know. I'd love to open a dialogue with you in some small way. I am extending my hand out to you, Chud. And you may not know me, and I don't know you, but I'm the very person who maybe you want to speak to. A black person. A black person who wants to hear your purpose. I want to know the goal of your entire thing. Are you angry? Do you seek victimhood? What is it? My curiosity is unquenchable in this inquiry. I wish to know. I have no idea why you choose to provoke people of my same skin tone. I don't know. I don't know why You feel as though you are hurt by the actions of people fighting to have acceptance in this world. I don't know. I do know that there are enough extremists and reactionaries online to give you exactly what you're looking for. You have a vastly bigger number of followers than me on Twitter. I will probably not reach you in any capacity. This video will probably be dead in the mist among the thousands and hundreds of reactionary videos about how you got shot and how you got destroyed. I am sure of that. I do not understand you, Chud. I know that right now I vehemently believe that you are racist. You are evil, and you use the good word of the Lord in vain to preach a hateful message, to incite people on a word you know was used to dismantle and annihilate my people for many, many years. I am aware of that. I will not insult you in a very derogatory way, but think of what you are leaving behind as a legacy. Think of what you will be remembered for. Do you think you are fighting a good fight at all? Do you think making people more comfortable with the fence is okay? Do you think this is some sort of cultural exchange? Do you wish to take everything, just to feel something? I know what it's like to be the person that gets angry when they say all men are bad. I would rather pick the bear, right? It's annoying, isn't it? I'm worse than the bear. As a matter of fact, all men, I'm included in that. I am dangerous. I'm aware of this. No woman should trust me realistically. I'm aware of that. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't really bother me realistically. If you say all men, fine, I guess I'm all men. That's fine by me. Does that bother you, Chud? In any way? When I say that you're a fake Christian, shouldn't bother you. You know God knows your heart. Where does your heart lie? Does it lie beneath the floorboards? Telltale? Is that what you're doing? A telltale? Where's your heart? Is it still beating, or have you left it behind? Have you left it at that company that you lost because of the words you said? Have you left it with your child whose name is going to get changed? Have you left it with your GoFundMe which didn't reach its goal? Have you left it on Twitter with all the people that give you fake validation and the bots that comment under your thing with the blue check marks? Have you left it? Have you gained what you wanted? Was the gunshot worth it? Is the danger to your life in common day situations worth it? Is it worth being ostracized by your entire community? You have found your victimhood. You have the pure right to call yourself a victim. So proud of you. How does it feel? Just let me know. How does it feel to have people of your same skin tone hate you and opposite skin tone hate you? Or more so what you would call opposite, because white is the opposite of black for you. How does it feel to see your kinsmen, your clansmen, people in your same tribe, not mess with you? How does it feel to only have the adoration of people that are trolls? How does it feel? How does it feel to have your life riddled with insults over and over again and death threats constantly inside of your name? How does it feel? Is it fun? Are you having a good time? I hope you are. I hope you got an all admissions pass, VIP Disney Fast Pass to the roller coaster of a disaster that is your life. I hope the centripetal force that you are feeling right now, whatever it may be, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Whatever force you're feeling, I hope it gives you vertigo. I hope you are able to stand on your feet and witness the dizzying effect of what you have caused. Does this make you feel satisfied? Are you complete? Have you filled your belly with the tears of all the chimps? Is this fun for you? I just want to know. You know you are inciting violence. You know you are causing harm to people just for the sake of causing harm. I just want to know, Chud. Do you feel great? Do you feel complete? I don't know. I'd love to know. I'd love to know what this is. Because I don't. Apologize, my eyes were getting dry. But I think your performance of victimhood has a script. You learn it well enough and you can deflect any criticism, reframe any attack, turn any consequence into evidence that the whole world is against you. Say the thing, do the thing, get the provocation, cross the line that you drew for everyone else. Then you get your reaction. Wait for people to respond exactly the way you knew they would. And then you reverse it. Suddenly you are not the aggressor. You are the one being silenced, attacked, canceled. The script works for a little bit, for a small while. But this is a performance. Remember this. The trap closes when the performance stops working. Audiences are going to get bored of the N-word over and over again. You ever say a word so long it begins to feel fake? Well, we know you're fake. The same propagation that worked yesterday feels stale today. The same victimhood that drew sympathy last month will draw eye rolls now. So you escalate, right? You're going up to other people. You're doing your worst. You're going to worse neighborhoods. You're going to gas stations where you know you're not welcome. You're trying to express your freedom. The words need to be worse. The target needs to be more vulnerable. The stakes need to feel higher. You start chasing a high that moves further away every time you get close. The person you were before the chase is gone. What happened to your technical skill? What happened to what you were? You do not remember what it felt like to talk without calculating the reaction. You do not remember what it felt like to exist without an audience. You are never at fault, are you? You see, I'm confused because I've never met anybody in my life who was never at fault. Countless times in my life I've been at fault. Most of the time it's my fault. The people who defend this language always use a particular language, and I love it so much. It's just words. You're being too sensitive. And I love that minimalist language to shrink the harm down until it fits inside a little dismissive shrug. Words are instructions. Words are permission. Words are consent. Words are the difference between somebody feeling safe enough to walk down the street and someone checking over their shoulder every few seconds. A single slur shouted from a passing car can ruin a week. A single comment thread can convince someone that half the population wants them dead. And truthfully, Chud, if I were being petty, I'd say that any of the words that anybody has given to you online shouldn't really affect you. They're just words. You shouldn't feel any kind of hate or anger or vitriol. You shouldn't even react to anybody because they're just words. You have never been the target. How does it feel being the target? How does it feel when you point a finger forward pointing back at you? How are you feeling? I think all of what you're doing, every single thing you're doing, is disgusting. I think every consequence that you're doing are the natural results of actions. You say something, people react. It's not even censorship, that's physics. A person who throws a rock into a crowd and then complains that someone threw it back is not a victim. You misunderstood the nature of rocks. And these words are rocks because they have weight, they have impacts, they leave marks. I know you don't want to believe me. I grasp it. I know what you are. I grasp it. I know you don't want to listen to a black chimp. I'm chimping out, whatever have you. I grasp it. But Chud, how did it feel when the cops didn't listen to you?
Especially when your officer comes up to me and says, hey, I've seen your content, but don't you think you kind of would expect this? No, I don't expect people to break the law. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've broken no laws. And so I don't appreciate that being an excuse. Well, I'm on you guys' side. I'm on the side of the law and order. I'm trying to restore law and order. These people think there's a secondary law and order amongst themselves. I don't agree with that. And I'm standing by myself on this principle in front of the whole country and world.
If what you're doing is going around using racial slurs and profanity, that's a little different.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Are you gonna argue that in court? Because I walked into the gas station and walked out. Okay. And as I'm walking to my truck, I turn around, he's got something behind his back that looks like a gun. It's a drill.
Well, they're saying that.
So I don't give a fuck what they're saying. It's all recorded.
I got you.
And it's live streamed.
I know. I got you. And I'm just telling you.
And I have every right to say whatever I want on the internet without being chimped out on in public.
Okay.
All right.
You got your ID?
Hey, what was your name and badge number?
714001162, sir.
How did it feel when a white man with a cowboy hat decided not to let you in the bar?
They won't let me in here.
They won't. Why not?
Because I said the N-word on the internet. Now they say I'm just an un-American person because I believe in freedom of speech. Isn't that crazy?
Well, considering that two of my boys are black, I can understand that.
Why does that matter?
It does. I don't like it. Just go ahead.
You don't like freedom of speech either?
Just go ahead and go.
I'm going to stand right here. What are you going to do?
Don't give me a police officer. Don't leave.
I'm going to go to jail? Look at him. He's going to waddle over to the cop. Considering two of my boys are black. Fuck him. And guys like that are why they...
How did those things fail? I do not wish for your destruction. I cannot wish for the hate of another human. That would be inhuman of me. I recognize your humanity. I recognize that you are somebody struggling and suffering, and I will never excuse all the harm you've done. But I do think people can be rehabilitated. I do think anyone on earth can change. I think even the most low-down criminals on earth can possibly have a moment of solace or a moment of change. Because what is better, to be born good or through extreme effort to combat your evil nature? That's Skyrim. That's Parthenax. Great game, by the way. Horrible developer, by the way. I don't like Todd Howard at all. I think that you are a sad person. I think you are depressed. I think you are stuck inside of a cage that has no bearing in any capacity. I think that I would love to learn and pick your brain one day. I want to figure out what moves Chud the Builder, what builds him up. Because I don't know. Bear base, maybe? The gun you carry? Provoking chimps? Calling them chimping out? I don't know. Trying to play the victim by actively aggregating people? You will get maybe your legal victory. You may find a good lawyer. I'm not quite sure. But all the accounts of all the stuff you've done, you going outwardly to provoke people, this is almost premeditated when you really think about it. And that's not healthy. You are not utilizing freedom of speech. You are just looking for the right to offend. All you are doing. See, if you were anonymous, you had anonymity. If you didn't show your face, you might have been able to get away with it. Maybe if you were a VTuber, maybe a peanut. I don't know. Just tossing out random things. Maybe that's if what you were. Maybe if you had that, you would have gotten away with it. And I wouldn't have got away with it too if it weren't for you meddling blacks. But we're here. We see you. Dalton Eartherly. We see you. It's sad. And if your dog really did pass because of some actions of some people, I am deeply sorry for the dog, and I'm sorry you lost your best friend. That is sad. But dude, grow up. Seriously, grow up. Is this what you want your entire life to be? Fighting this fight, hoping the grift's so hard that you actively ruin everyone's life? Nobody is really cheering for you, dude. Nobody wants you to win. Nobody is rooting for you, man. Nobody. Not even the most extreme people. Nobody likes you. Asmongold doesn't like you even. That's crazy. That's nuts. You're looking for it, man. You're looking for hurt and harm. And thus, after all this time, after all the things, all the effort, and all the work you put in, your work's finally paying off. I say smile. I say be happy. I say that this is divine intervention. Maybe this is your come to Jesus moment. Not quite sure. I have so many emotions welling up inside of me. I am not happy nor sad. Maybe I feel pity. It might be pity. I don't know. I do know, Chud, that if you ever, in any capacity, would ever like to reach out and have a friendly conversation, all of my doors are open because I am so infinitely curious behind your mindset. You will have my platform to talk to me, and I am opening an open dialogue with you, Chud the Builder. You have every means to contact me, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, Discord, hell, your favorite platform, Twitter, X, the Everything app. You may contact me. I am here for you. I am here to have you understand your point. Because I don't think I know what you're trying to do. Does anybody know? What are you fighting? It reminds me of the No Kings protest. I don't really understand the point of the No Kings protest at the end of the day. I'm not sure what they're fighting against or fighting for, who they're fighting with. I really don't know. All that I know is that every time I hear this rhetoric, every time I hear the same spiel, maybe you're different. And I want to hope and believe with all my faith. Praise be to the Most High. Praise His name, for He is the sound that you hear in the darkest echoes of your corners of your soul. He will fill your heart with love, Jesus Christ. Say His name. Amen. Maybe you will say something that will shift me and make me move. I'm always willing to have my heart, eyes, mind, and brain open, and always in all capacities. But if you come here and you spill that same rhetoric, it's just words. Words shouldn't affect anybody. It shouldn't really make you feel the urge to chimp out. Can't really understand. How are we chimps? Does it make you laugh? Is that what's going on? Does racist humor make you laugh? If that's fine, that's cool, that's okay. If you want to build a community of racists, that's okay. But you're bringing your community outside. You're doing it IRL. You're testing some form of theory, but hey, that's just a theory, a critical race theory. Thanks for watching. I don't know, man. It just feels at the end of the day so utterly pointless to risk your life and the life of your family for nothing. You are gaining nothing at the end of the day. And I hope at the end of your journey, when you are at your mountaintop and you look down at the destruction you wrought on the zenith of your peak, on your Mount Everest, on your Olympus Mons, on your Mount Olympus, you stand there feeling like Zeus casting thunder upon all the subjects, giving ghosts to the Spartans and ruining their lives, and all the people you have before you, all the other people you have claimed gods. I wonder if you'll look at the mountaintop and realize there's nowhere else to go. What goal have you really accomplished? You sadden me. I wish so deeply to save you from yourself, but I don't think you want to. You'd lose everything that you are. When you got a grift going this hard and this long, you don't just give it up that easily. I would like to say a prayer for you, Chud. So I may bow my head. Dear God, who art thou in heaven, powerful by thy name, fulfillful in all of his promises, please help Dalton seek the guidance that he so desperately needs. Please, with all of your power, might, and wisdom, I hope that you will guide this lost and troubled soul to the promised land of forgiveness and retribution for all the horrors that he has wrought. And hopefully, you will change his soul and his mind, for you know his heart, Lord. I do not. I do not know of what he wishes to seek, but hopefully you will help him at the end of his journey, wherever it may lead, and hopefully you are wiser and kinder than anybody has ever been to him in his entire life. Maybe this will be his come to you moment. In your name, my Lord, Yahweh, praise be the Most High. In Jesus' name, Amen. With that being said, that's the video. I've been ruminating on this for quite some time, and I'm sorry that it's so oppressively long. I just had a lot to say. Realistically, I feel like I rambled and repeated a lot of points over and over again, and I'm sorry this is releasing at such an odd time for a lot of people. I just wanted to release this as soon as I made it, because holding on to this video just doesn't feel right. I'm going through a few things right now, and I think that this video is going to help me get through and process a lot of stuff. I really want to get this video out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I am so eagerly curious to know what you think about the entirety of the message I am trying to deliver, of what I am trying to say, and what I am trying to bring to good old Dalton. If you have anything you would like to ask me, if you know a way to contact Dalton, please let me know. I would be more than happy to have a conversation with him in a civil and reasonable manner after he gets out of whatever court legal fees he is probably going to have to go through. He may be on probation, not quite sure what's going to happen to him, because this shooting was probably a miracle for so many people that millions of people are probably going to celebrate for time and centennium to come. Don't know what's happening there. I hope for the best, and I pray for your safe recovery, and I pray for the safe recovery of the black man who was wrongfully hurt in your absolute ridiculous outburst. Please be safe. Anyways, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you wish to see any content similar to this one. I'm out. Peace. Bye. Hey Dad, how do you feel about the white guy with the cowboy hat saying the N word all the time? What do you feel about him? I just want to know your thoughts about him.
Well, I imagine the boy is lost. I don't really have much to say about him, but I pity him. He must be alone, and he deserves that loneliness, I can imagine, because it's a hurtful word, it's a spiteful word, but, you know, it's what he brought upon himself, I can only imagine. I don't get it, but I guess if the cops are turning against him and everybody hates him online, then maybe he knows what it's like to feel a little like a black man in America. Maybe that's what's going on with him. Maybe that's what he wanted. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
I'm your nigga night, be my Laurel Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you're free.